Okay, I have seen this a lot on social media of people saying that men and women can be best friends. And I think that's a lie. I think that not even my own thinking, but facts have proven that. And my husband has told me this, him as a man, that a woman would be in a delusion thinking, maybe not in a delusion, but just her innocently thinking that, oh no, we're just friends, nothing will happen. I see him just as my friend or as my brother. But he knows the guy is waiting for the moment the girl is always going to stumble, so he can always be there and have a shoulder for her to lean on. You know what I mean by shoulder to lean on? In this time and generation, we know people just don't go to people to, especially women don't go to guys for advice. They go for a good shoulder to lean on. And so we need to stop lying to ourselves. And I know the same goes to guys. Guys cannot just have female best friends. It's a double standard ways. Even if we want to look at it in Christianity, is that we were only meant to have one man and one woman together and not the other way around, where you can have one guy friend, you can have a friend or a best friend who you always lean into, who you can always help, who you can always go to, and then you also have your husband, which really does not make any sense, because if you're gonna stumble, you're gonna stumble onto your best friend more likely so, because most people tend to tell their best friends things that they can tell others, and that's why it's important to form that relationship with your spouse, with your boyfriend, with your husband. You need to form that relationship so that you do not stumble onto another person's area where you're not meant to be with them in the first place. And so it's, and we need to stop, telling people that, oh, you're being insecure because I have a female, like for example, if it's me, I have a male best friend, so you need to stop being insecure. Come on, be serious. Because if you are a girl too and you see your husband or your boyfriend being too friendly on a girl, you're definitely gonna flip, right? You're definitely not gonna have your right man into it. You're gonna be super jealous. You're gonna lose your trust on them because you're gonna think, is he sleeping with her? Is he cheating on me? And that's not a good foundation to have in your relationship, especially if you're starting a date and even in your marriage, because you're supposed to trust your spouse. You're supposed to not be jealous of your spouse. But if I'm not supposed to be jealous, then why would your spouse do something that will make him or her jealous, right? So that's just something that we need to stop doing. You can have acquaintances, like for me, I can have acquaintances as a guy, but not someone that I spend my time with, or like, oh, let's go hang out in the park, only the two of us because we're friends. Oh, let's go to a restaurant, go get dinner, go get lunch, go get coffee. Like, that's a date behavior more like than a actual friendship. And so that goes the same way with like a guy as well. Like, they can just go out and hang out, Netflix and chill, go watch movies. Those are date-like behaviors. So why would you want to do that with your friend? You know what I mean? Like, it's not feasible. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to the world, because to be fair, you're probably sleeping with your best friend, or you've been thinking about it, or your best friend is thinking about it, and you're just lying to yourself. And people are trying to tell you what's the truth, what is the fact, right? My husband and I, we can both have friends of the same gender as a couple friends where we hang out, all of us together, and not him hanging out with the girl and me hanging out with the guy. Like, come on, that's not right. That is not Christian like in the first place. That's worldly like. That's why people in the world will want to convince you that you can have those kind of friends. But then when people start cheating, they go, oh, it just happened. Like, I'm gonna give you a good story, right? Like, this woman started going to the gym, right, without her husband. And I mean, that's fine. You could go to the gym without your husband or your spouse. That's okay, right? But she started forming a friendship with a guy there who would help her do workouts and things like that. And she started feeling so comfortable. The one time she cheated and says it just happened so fast. Like it was an accident. I didn't mean it to be, but to be fair, you're creating that environment for something like that to happen so easily that you're probably not going to realize it until you actually do it. You're not going to realize it in a moment because you're going to be like, oh, that's my friend. Like nothing's definitely going to happen. But feelings are going to start developing, sorry. I have English is my second language, but feelings are going to start developing and wow, that looks so bad. You know what I mean, right? They're gonna start growing towards that direction, and that's just not okay, right? Cheating in the first place is not right. Adultery is not right in the Christian way. It's part of the 10 Commandments. Do not commit adultery. You know, do not. Adultery can also go both ways. Do not commit adultery in the sense, don't sleep with someone before marriage. Like that's a different video, but anyway. And so, and you hear stories like this, like even goes along in at work as well, where, you know, a woman and a man staying long hours to work, which is fine, but like staying alone together to work, what are you working on? I can't wait to the following day, right? Those feelings, you're creating an environment for those feelings to grow and mature into something that is not there. That's why a woman is meant for one man and a man is meant for one woman. That's how God created it to be. And I'll make even another video of that's why we don't have transgenderism. That's why we should not have lesbianism. We should not have the LGBTQ, whatever it is. That's why we cannot have all those things, right? Because God created man for one woman and woman for one man. You know, and that's why I know when we have women friends, that's why you also gotta choose the right women friends, because you gotta have someone who's going to help you walk into your womanhood, into your journey. And if they're a wife, they can help you know what being a wife is like and things like that. But you also have to set boundaries so things don't go into routes that they're not supposed to go. So you got to be very careful. That's why I think it's more advisable, especially if you're in a relationship, to have friend groups that you meet together and avoid being alone with someone, unless it's like, I don't know, a girl best friend, like for me, a girl best friend. But why are you being alone? You can meet in public alone, sure, but like, I don't know, you can, there's so many things that can develop, but like, it's best if you just do it as, you know, look for a man companionship. If not, make a group, have group friends, do group things. If you don't trust someone, why are you in the group with them, right? But hope this helps you. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think? Am I wrong? What do you think, guys? So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.